Peace, everyone. It's Black Eyed Priestess. My phone's kind of foggy. I don't know if it's. I know I do. Alright, there we go. Make sure the camera's clear, and I'm going to brighten it up. Alright, there we go. So hopefully you all can see me, hear me. So you all ready for another witch's brew? I've already got some water boiling. I tried to upload my last upload. Sorry for showing you guys all my mess here. But I already got some water boiling, and what I've gotten here is a cinnamon stick. And I broke up the cinnamon stick just to release some of the flavor, because the cinnamon stick, it had been sitting for a while. I've had it for a while, so I broke it up to release some of the internal flavors. And I also put some of this essential oil in that. I got like the last little bit out because the bottle was done, so I just threw the bottle in there for a minute, because the bottle is glass, and just let the lemon oil infuse. And what I did is I'm going to use the exact same chalice that I used from my last tea time upload. When I did, I think I called it Kiss Me, I'm Irish brew. And this one, for some reason, something's telling me to call this one Limelight. And again, I got the cinnamon going. I got some lemon oil. What I did was, with the same chalice as last time, of course, there are still some little roses and stuff like that. So I didn't rinse this one out. So the residue from the last one is still here. And I put in a mixture of lemon lime juice. Fresh squeeze, but not like fresh squeeze. It was store bought lemon lime juice. And that's a mixture in here. And also, I put a little extra, like a little drop of the lemon oil in here as well. And another thing that I'm going to do is throw in some of this awesome vitamin D that my mom got me. And she's really excited about it. I've been forgetting to use it the last couple days. So it says do like five drops. My mom told me to do 10. But I'm just going to go ahead and put 5 drops of this in my tea. 8, 9. I might as well put 10 since it's more like 11. But I'm just going to put some vitamin D in there. So that's going to really kind of liven up my energy and give you that solar energy that we are being deprived of from things like chemtrails, and weather circumstances that don't allow us to get as much sunlight as we need, or things that are intended to deactivate the use of your melanin, because melanin feeds off of sunlight. Melanin is able to transform the potentially harmful UV sun rays into food. And, that is why Black people, darker Black people, and people who have who may not be very, very dark skinned but have African genetics are able to feed off of sunlight, are able to be energized off of sunlight, and are able to be sustained from the sun, just like plants are. That is what it means to be an organic human being. It means that you can feed off of the sunlight. It also means you know how to feed off of the moonlight. That gets into mysteries of darkness and craft, and understanding the cycles, and not having an adversity to any polarity, Black or white. Okay? That is what the dominant genetic is about, not having an adversity to any polarity. Remember, the Arctic, the cold, the European climate is not foreign to Africans. The Inuits, who use whale fat to burn oil to survive, the Inuits who lived in igloos, who were Eskimos, and who lived on the Arctic ice plates, were Black, darker than me. Those were Black people, and they had Native American mythology. It's funny that I'm talking about this, because last night in my dream, sEDNA showed up to me, and I want to quickly explain. I was in a situation, and I was leaving a party gathering event in the city, and we were leaving out of the city. And a friend of mine who seemed like a coworker and his son, who also seemed like a coworker, were taking me and another one of our coworkers. And again, these are not people who I necessarily know in real life. In the dream, that's the role they played. It was like we all worked together, and we were all hanging out together. So the father and the son were in the front seat. The father was driving. Me and another male friend were in the back seat getting the ride from them. I had already paid $40 to the father in order to get the ride. My coworker also, I believe, did the same, the other one in the back seat. Then the son asked for an extra $20. Peace, dark skin. So at that point, I said, I already paid $40 for this ride. If you all are being like that, whatever, then I'll get out the car. And so what I remember is the father giving me my $40 back, and, stopping and not really kicking me out, but essentially kicking me out, because I already said that I get out the car instead of taking a ride that you guys are going to keep trying to squeeze money out of me for. The other guy in the back got out as well. Now, when I ordered my Uber ride, at that spot that I got out of the car at, my other coworker was there. Then he did turn into someone who I do know. However, he started smoking. And so when my ride came up, her name was Edna, and she had like a black sedan. And so her name stood out to me, and she was a Filipino woman, for lack of a better. She was like Filipino or Indonesian, a woman, in phenotype and appearance. And I realized that word Edna and sedan, they have the same letters. And I realized they were talking about sEDNA, because if you switch the words of sedan around, or Edna, and add an S, you get sEDNA. sEDNA is an Inuit mythological goddess. And the thing with sEDNA is her father wouldn't allow her to marry this guy who was basically a warlock. He turned into like a crow. He took her off to his land. And then, she started missing her father and everything. So she tried to get back. She ended up drowning and became like a sea goddess. That's kind of the gist of the story. It's rather tragic, but I just wanted to let you all know that, me talking about the Inuit, sEDNA actually came into my dream last night, and I think that there's a strong message that I've really been getting. I have the Bible here. I'm going to pull a scripture, but the dream really spoke to me strongly to talk about people trying to be like Black women and not giving Black women the credit for being the origins of femininity, or the origins of style, the origins of class, the origins of royalty, the origins of artistic creativity. The things that a lot of white women steal from Black women and try to whitewash and make it something Eurocentric or European in origin, or make it something of white culture in origin. And, essentially trying to be like Black women without accrediting Black women for our original organic femininity. Being Black, being genetically dominant, means you have no adversity to any form of nature, any polarity, meaning from cold to hot, black to white, dark to light, tall to short, all these things. Remember, Middle Earth in Lord of the Rings essentially represented a big landmass like Africa, having tall people, like in Kenya, where you have the really, really tall Maasai, and then a very neighboring country can have some of the shortest people in the world, the Pygmies. Two countries, two nations in the same vicinity, in the same landmass, have completely different, polar opposite phenotypes, cultures, languages, customs. Okay. It's important to understand Black people are the originators of humanity and life on Earth. We do not lack things. This, white supremacy does not like to talk about the differences between black and white. I even met a couple last night, amazing couple. If you guys are watching, shout out to you guys. And we were at Elephant and Castle, my favorite spot, and we were talking about a lot of European history. But I noticed when I started asking about, well, what learning about the founding fathers, learning about the history between Europeans coming over to America, what the Tea Party was all about, the British versus the English, the French versus the English, all of these historical wars and things that, it's very interesting. But when it's time to talk about slavery, it's still something extremely uncomfortable for white people who know history, but don't want to talk about the slave history. Whereas black people, we openly talk about it because we often have to go out of our way to study our history, to study and understand what happened, because it matters to us. Whereas not talking about it keeps white supremacy. It keeps this idea of white people are naturally supreme, and we don't want to talk about the stain on our history of us hating God's original people. It's not all white people, but it did happen in a time and place. All of the world did not cause the Holocaust. It was an isolated time and place, yet the whole world acknowledges it. All white people did not cause slavery. It was not necessarily isolated. You know what I mean? It happened across seas, which is why it became a globalized, accepted thing to look down on black people, because of an isolated incident in history that has had lasting effects, that is spiritually related. Black people have to understand we are different. And the more a black person truly understands the differences between them and white people, the differences between African culture and European culture, okay, it goes beyond skin deep. It can be cultural. But if you don't understand as a black person that you are different inside and out from white people, regardless of whether or not your shit stinks and your blood is red, what your blood can do is different than what white people's blood can do, which is why they experiment on black people. Doesn't matter that your blood is the same color. You have different power, different genetics, different ancestors running through your veins. And if you don't acknowledge them and you let white people marginalize you into what they are comfortable with, and to the margins that are actually on the white Caucasian, not on the African. The white Caucasian gets burned by the sun. The white Caucasian died during childbirth in the Dark Ages. The white Caucasian was taught how to season their food, how to raise their kids. All right. The white Caucasian has adversity to nature most of the time and has to destroy nature in order to survive and procreate and thrive. The white Caucasian has the recessive genetics that recede in interracial mixing. The white Caucasian has those limits. The white Caucasian does not have the equal muscle twitch fibers, melanin concentration, sacral spiraled hair that allows you to be better at athletics, which is why black men are better at sports. Our muscle twitch fibers allow us to have reactions quicker than a white person, to react to things. All right, quicker. That's a muscle twitch fiber. Ours are different than white people's. That's why our black children walk sooner than white people, talk sooner than white kids. A lot of white people to this day, let them have 1 or 2 shots, they can barely walk straight. Whereas black people, we drink and we still can dance on rhythm and invoke all different ancestral energies when we get spirits on us. But when white people get spirits in us, they turn into their Neanderthal selves. And a lot of the times they can't move their bodies properly because that shows that recessive animal genetic that's in Caucasian, the Caucasian genetic. Furthermore, the sacred spiral hair, which is what makes our hair a crown. The way white people, especially white women, look at me because I dare to wear my natural hair as a black woman, which offends white people. This texture of hair is offensive to white people because it makes a clear-cut difference between black and white, between our dominance genetically and their inferiority genetically. White hair is limp. Black hair is alive. It grows upward, not downward. Our hair grows to the heaven. White hair does not do that. It falls to the ground. and it falls out a lot quicker than black hair does. And remember, if you're a Rastafari, you believe and understand your hair to be another limb, an extension of your whole body, and you don't cut it, which was something that was started in the Old Testament with the Nazarites. And remember, Christ was a Nazarite. He was a Nazarene. Jesus of Nazareth is the only proper way that I feel to say Jesus, because I don't agree that Jesus is necessarily the name, but that's neither here nor there. Samuel was a Nazarite. He was not allowed to have a razor touch his head because of the spiritual energy that he held and the spiritual rights that he had. That is dealing with the Rastafari, the modern day Rastafari who don't cut their hair for spiritual reasons. That comes from Nazareth, the Old Testament. Black people, our powers with in connection to our God is biblical. And I'm so glad that sEDNA came to me to help me understand like what, and then I never finished what happened in the dream. So I hope y'all are following me. And I'm going to have to just go ahead and what I'm going to do is add that special essential oil mint that my mom gave me for this particular tea, and then I'm just going to add some ginger egg kombucha, which will have some ginger and lemon in it. So since I'm talking more than doing my witch's brew, I'm just going to throw that in there, let it melt, throw a little more water on top. So about the dream. And then since that's in there marinating, I'm going to put the top on there. And I actually am probably going to put a little more eucalyptus. But about the drink. So at this time, when sEDNA pulls up, she specifically says, as my coworker, he started like smoking like a cigar or a Black and Mild. It may have had some weed in there, maybe not. But the main thing was that it was a cigar. And sEDNA, she didn't like the smell or whatever, but I think it was also something about his energy where she's like, he can't get in the car. I don't want him to get in the car. Eventually, I insisted because I didn't want to leave my coworker standing on the road or whatever. But I understood the spiritual implications. Everybody can't get it on the ride. Everyone, whether they look Black, you know what I'm saying, like he did, whether they, are Black or even African, you have to really understand a person's spirit to know whether they can ride with you, whether they do ride with you. You know what I'm saying, as a friend, whatever role they may play in your life. Spiritually, a lot of people don't ride with you. You're a Black person, you know Vodun, you know your ancestors, you know yourself. You know that you are different than white people. A lot of Black people ain't going to ride with you. A lot of white people ain't going to ride with you. The people who will are people who are covered with the blood of Christ and understand that spirituality goes beyond your color, and that the Bible talks about how the Gentiles were grafted into the nation because of the wickedness of the Israelites, who were the chosen ones. And still are. But again, what I want to say is, the point I really want to make is, Black people, we are hated all over the world. There is a difference between Black people, dark-skinned, kinky-haired Black people, and everybody else. There is a difference. And that difference is felt. And when you as a Black person appreciate the way the Most High made you in your nature, and you're not trying to kill it or destroy it or apologize for it by lightening your skin or straightening your hair or acting like a nigger, because you know that white people will be more cozy with you and more comfortable with you if they can look down on you because you act like you're from a rap video, versus acting in a way that can challenge them and compete with them and show them that, you know what, Black people are far more intelligent than white people, given the opportunity to be so. Furthermore, a lot of Black people have the opportunities right now, but don't choose it. When a Black person chooses to be something other than what white people marginalize us to, see how white people treat you. See how other Black people treat you who are not brave enough to be African. Or to just be American, or, whatever you identify with. You don't have to be a nigger all the time. You don't have to act like that. It's one thing to embrace our culture, to embrace the fact that maybe if you come from Jamaica, or you come from a certain part of Africa where they had to yell across the fields in order to hear each other, where we have a tendency to be loud and speak loud. So what if that makes white people uncomfortable and they don't understand? When we go to black churches, we get loud. When you go to white churches like I did, they all quiet. They don't know how to praise Jah spiritually. They know how to do it intellectually. But white people don't have the same spirituality as black people. And again, when I'm talking about white and black, I'm not necessarily talking about European culture and African culture, which is different than the concepts, the Americanized concepts of black and white in society. That's why it's important to talk to other people from other cultures and other nations, other places of the world. Don't just read about stuff and this and that. My coworker the other day started talking about zodiac signs, and I had to correct him. And just because you read something somewhere doesn't mean it's true. When you are an expert at something, it's not just about what you read. Anybody can write anything down. Look at Wikipedia. If you don't know how to use discernment, if you don't really know what you're talking about, if you aren't an expert at zodiac, spirituality, palm reading, tarot reading, personality, psychology, you're not going to know what you're talking about. You're just going to regurgitate some shit you read, and it's going to be incorrect. And this is a problem. A lot of us black people have low standards for education, where we think because we just learned how to read that we're smart. Realize, black people, you were prevented from reading in slavery. A lot of you, the way you read and the level of intellect you have shows that you were the race who just learned how to read. It shows that white people have been reading and have been involved in intellectual sciences far longer than black Americans have, because black Americans act like they just learned how to read. And it's in peace, Christina. And it's very important that black people understand you're not like white people. And if you knew who you were and what powers you have spiritually, which is what my brand is about, helping you awaken that in you and getting up out of the thumb of white supremacy that is perpetuated by other black people who don't have the strength to be something other than the white person's clown. Get your head out of your ass, black people. You're not like white people. You don't have to be what makes them comfortable with you. But a lot of you are not strong enough to deal with the things that you see me dealing with on a regular basis, because I don't apologize for who I am and what I know and my powers and my intellect. I'll sooner have no friends, be by myself, be single, and have the relationship that I have with the Most High and with the ancestors than to sacrifice or compromise any of that to be accepted by any one of you all. And I've said it before, I said it again, I'm not going to hell for none of y'all. I'll publicly repent like I have done before I lead people astray and risk my own salvation, my own ancient black soul, to be accepted by any of you new age modern clones. You know, and I'm not trying to be offensive to my audience. I'm saying what I feel needs to be said right now to really reach people who have their head up their ass. Yes, I'm speaking to black people first and foremost, but a lot of you white people, all you know is your own supremacy. The only way you know how to interact with a black person on a good level is if they are lower than you. If they are less than you, then you can interact with them. But the moment that they show they may be a little more intelligent than you, more beautiful than you, have more class than you, have something that is considered, that is attributed to white people, when they show that they're not some slave under the thumb of white supremacy and that are bowing down to you and looking at you like you're some type of angel just because you're a white person who accepts them, you all don't really know how to interact with real black people, especially you white women. Who constantly lusting after black men and trying your hardest to act like black women to get black men's attention, but you don't know how to get along with black women in a respectful way. You want black women to welcome you in so you can get all the attention from men and try and make her look less than. Look, you know, DJ Vlad is a perfect example of how white men and black men can get together and get along. and how a white man will take a platform that he has and openly allow black men to talk about the issues that affect them. When have you ever seen a white woman who has a platform as big as DJ Vlad openly allow black women to talk about how racist white women are toward us? You won't see it, because sexism is at the forefront of racism. And I talked about that before. This is why you have an influx of black men and white women. It's about racism and sexism. It is not about love. Black men are inferior, and they would rather be ruled by a white woman than to take the responsibility of protecting and providing for a black woman. End of discussion. If it don't apply, let it fly. White women want everything, get everything, so they want whatever they want, and they'll run around and disrespect people and be hoes and leave their men and go and openly show, you know, I'll divorce these white men who have taken care of me and given me all I want because I want some black dick now. And I'm not satisfied with my pampered lifestyle as a white woman. Whether you're rich or poor, white women get pampered. Black women do all the work. And white women look at black women as slaves and nannies. And when a white woman, most of the time, has a friendship with a black woman or some type of relationship with a black woman, it's under the premise that that black woman is going to be her nanny and her helper. And that the black woman is going to diminish herself in order for the white woman to have all this pampering that she needs, because she's recessive and she can't handle what a black woman can handle. Which is why white men go with black women when they want a black woman who can handle being a woman, who can handle being a partner to a man who's working to provide, who can handle herself, who can control herself, who knows how to behave with class and dignity. These are things that are not attributed to black women. Yet white women act far more ratchet than black women because they can get attention and be accepted. Whereas if a black woman acts like that, she's going to be called all types of names and things. Black women do the things that Miley Cyrus and all these other, white girls do. And it doesn't have to be at the celebrity level. I know and experience this. Doesn't matter how I act, white people are still going to try and make me out to be some ghetto, niggerly, mammy-like woman, because they don't want to respect me for the fact that I'm not like that. And even if I do act like that, so what? Maybe that's my culture. Maybe that black woman comes out of me because I am a black woman. And I don't have to be just like white Eurocentric intelligence. Even though I can be like that, I still have soul. We're not marginalized like white people are marginalized. Now I'm going to put this cap full of vanilla also in the blend here. Because I don't want to burn it too much in the brew there. And I might even need a little bit more. But like I said, I'm going to call this Limelight. So right now, and then I'm going to throw a little honey in now, a little honey in later. This might actually be plenty of honey that I just did. Because the vanilla is actually sweet, and it sweetens things up. And it is strong too. Remember, vanilla is an extract that does have traces of alcohol. It can turn into a liqueur. So when you have vanilla will make you urinate more because of the traces of alcohol content that vanilla naturally has in the extracting process. And as usual, I got some leaves here that I'm going to garnish with again. So let's see how this is going. I'm going to turn the eye off. I'm going to see what we got going, and it looks like it's all melted and everything, and we got some cinnamon sticks there. So let's do this. Strain it. And before I do that, I'm going to quickly see what we're working with. So again, I'm going to call this brew Limelight. I didn't really have a chance to walk you all through it because I really wanted to get that message out there from sEDNA. And Koki, you said you just saw an Edna. Peace, Kikau Tafari. Peace, everyone. So Koki, you said you just saw Edna. So again, Um, I'm getting that some of you all need to take the word Edna and mix the letters around. It also can spell Dean. It can spell it can spell different words. So, but if anyone has been countering Edna lately, the general message is to get in touch with the Black roots and to learn to respect the Black genetic, to understand whether or not people ride with you as a genetically dominant, African of Vodun or not. That is the message I'm getting, to understand that you have ancient Black blood that is not marginalized to anything, that is being used and experimented on by white people who don't have the same powers in their blood, who don't have the same gold, metal, crystals, energies, abilities, or ancestors, most importantly, running through their blood. Black people are being experimented on. So it's important to understand, Black people, you need to start cutting ties with people who are experimenting on you, because you're not utilizing your blood for African spirituality, which starts with the Bible. The mysteries of the African spirituality are Vodun. Most of you all don't need the mysteries. That is for the Levite priesthood. Those of you who do will get them. You will earn them. Most of you all don't. You need to honor the spirituality of the Bible. Those of you who are the Levite priesthood, you need to be doing Vodun. Or those of you who are of the customs of that, of those traditions, you need to be honoring those ancestors who have honored you, whether or not you are within a priesthood or have received the rights of a priest or priestess. If you've received ancestral blessings, if you've received biblical wisdom, you need to honor that and honor the Most High. You need to honor the Most High. Alrighty. Lime. Oh, so first we'll start with cinnamon. Spirituality, success, healing, power, psychic powers, protection, and love. Lime. Healing, love, protection. All three of those are also in the cinnamon one. Vanilla. Love, lust, mental powers. Lemon. Longevity, purification, love, and friendship. And eucalyptus. Healing and protection. So I'm calling this one the limelight because it's kind of like seeing the light. But I'm not sure how to define the limelight. It's kind of like being on stage. And something also, I'm getting Lyme disease. So the reason I'm going to call this one the limelight is because this brew has a strong energy of actually purifying those who may have, for lack of a better term, Lyme disease, but that recessive genetic disease where you are not human. You're diseased. You can't, you have adversity to sunlight. You can't move the same. You're just a pariah. You're just a parasite. You're not a human. You don't have human capabilities. You're a parasite. And Lyme disease is representative of a parasite, is what is the message I'm getting. And this Lyme light is helping people see the light, see the clear difference between an African and a white person. Not necessarily European. There's several Africans, so to speak, in Europe, or Black people, Moors, so to speak, in Europe. What I'm talking about is whether or not you are a human or whether you are a parasite, whether or not you can get along with nature as a human being, as an organic human being, or whether or not you're a recessive parasite who is not here by origin, but is here to host satanic spirits. That's what I'm getting at. And this is why this one is going to be called Limelight, because it's protecting people from energies that are not originally Black, ancient African, organic. Protecting you from organic, you know, we're talking about GMO and everything, but we forget to talk about what is an organic human versus a clone. The way I get treated, you all don't understand. When you're spiritually activated, people are going to treat you a certain way. It's because I'm an organic woman. Black men are not being fed real food because you're going with clones instead of with organic women. And that's why the Black man's legacy has died. You don't choose organic women. You don't choose what will get you honored by Ogun. Ogun no longer deals with Black men. Ogun does not deal with the Black man anymore. He deals with the Black woman, or he will go outside of the nation. But Ogun has cut off Black men because Black men no longer have the masculinity to deal with the most ancient Orisha of all, which is Ogun. Now, Ogun does have a father, Agayu, the father of the volcano, which is where Ogun was born, in a volcano, in Agayu. But when I'm talking about the most ancient Orisha, so to speak, Ogun is older than all of them when it comes to that level of being an Orisha and being a manifestation that humans can deal with versus just a strict element that can only be utilized in its elemental form. Ogun became an Orisha that humans could access and call on to embody that spirit and go to war with. You know, we are not at a point where a person, well, yes, a person under the house of Agayu would be someone who could be like a fire eater. All right, so we'll go there. But remember, that stuff is still preserved for Ogun. People who do that still do rituals to Ogun. They're just accessing his father. That's a conversation for Vodou and mysteries. My point is, sEDNA has a strong message that came in my dream last night. You all, Black people, you need to start segregating yourself in whatever way you can. Of course, you have to go in public, you have to go to work, you have to go in places where we're not in a segregated world. But spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, you need to start separating yourself from these people who have Lyme disease, who are lepers, who are not organic humans. And you're not going to be able to know the difference if you're only looking at skin deep. But of course, again, the obvious is the obvious. But when I say that, don't make that as an excuse to accept these white people who are clearly unorganic, who are clones, who are recessive. It means to realize that just because a person has darker skin or looks like an African American, it doesn't mean that they don't have this Lyme disease that I'm talking about, this parasitic genetics. And just because a person may be albino or maybe a little lighter skinned or may even be able to pass as Caucasian, it doesn't mean that they are. They might be a gypsy, they might be French, they might be Eastern European, they might be ancient. They just can pass as a white American. But in their blood, there's something ancient and gypsy that allows them to access the truth and that allows them to behave as a human the way an African can. This is intense. But for those of you who know what my brand and products and services are really about, I deal with getting rid of these demonic evil forces that have attacked humanity. And here's some of the cinnamon pieces there. I'm just going to put a little extra strain on that. And I like to leave stuff in here as I strain it because I might reuse it to flavor another tea. Again, just, reusing things until the energy is what it is. And actually, I'm going to stir a little bit. See, I've got the honey and everything settled at the bottom. So I'm going to stir, and today's Monday. So I'll say, Odu Legba, Vodou Legba, Papa Legba, open the doors. Your daughter awaits. Papa Legba, open the doors. The Black High Priestess awaits. Odu Legba, Vodou Legba, Papa Legba, open the doors. Your daughter awaits. Open the doors. The Black High Priestess awaits. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So it is Monday. We're almost in a full moon, which will probably be a little bit toward in a few days, closer toward the end of the week. But remember, Monday is Papa Legba's day. I did have a question about more about Papa Legba. I have not done that upload. Someone did ask me on my Black High Priestess Facebook page. And the reason I have not done the upload is because I'm being told that my audience has not earned more mysteries than the original Papa Legba mysteries that I did. The people who are my audience right now or who are watching, may not be doing enough rites or rituals or have enough genuine respect for the ancestors to get the next set of mysteries of Papa Legba that I have to offer. But this is showing that you all can start earning the rights by taking spirituality seriously and not thinking it's for entertainment purposes and not thinking it's something that's going to give you a power that you don't naturally have or haven't earned. Vodun does not give you power. It awakens what you are already born with. If you're not born with it, stop trying to access it. It's going to backfire. Also, another question I got was about how crystals are used in Vodun. And my response was crystals are used in earth magic. Crystals are something that is used in earth magic. They are an earth element. In Vodun, crystals can be used at an altar to be an offering to an ancestor. Vodun is not like witchcraft. Vodun is specifically about invoking and honoring and revering and being possessed by ancient African ancestors, which are forces of nature that animate in humanity and spirits through spirituality. Witchcraft is about accessing elements, elemental forces, and utilizing them for healing, or if needed, destruction, which healing and destruction are the same thing. When you heal someone, when you take antibiotics, there is a war going on in your body. There is destruction happening when you take medicine for healing. Witchcraft is about healing, which is directly related to destruction. Using mysteries of elemental forces. Witchcraft does not have to involve ancestors, which is a form of spirituality. Witchcraft involves metaphysics, which is having a bloodline trait that can awaken and bring life to something that's inanimate in order to use it for a spell or ritual. It's different than Vodun. There's a lot of witches who cannot access Vodun because they're not African and they don't have the genetic bloodline traits. So understand that crystals are not used in Vodun. Crystals are used in witchcraft or in healing. How can you use a crystal in Vodun? You can offer it to Yemaya. You can offer it to an altar for an Orisha or a Loa or a spirit. You can purify it and make a tool out of it, and enchant it with the ashe of whatever ancestor has chosen you. All right. If no one else has any questions at this time, I'm going to try this. Oh, it's just, oh my God. I've been eating vanilla for so long, you guys. Vanilla. I've been eating vanilla for so long. It's just my sacred sexuality gets like riled up and released so much. Yeah, I have to be careful with vanilla because the way it gets men to act around, it has an effect. Vanilla is a very, very sexual, sensual spice. To use. And I'm just going to top this off with a little bit of this ginger, a kombucha. And, okay. Lastly, so we talked about this and stuff, and then really quickly, ginger, love, money, success, power. And then again, I can really I can taste that essential oil cough drop that my mom gave me. So this is really going to help me accept that my voice is to be used for the ancestors to speak through me, and to accept that ancient feminine mysteries of Black ancestors are going to be spoken through me, and that my voice has to be used for the revolution, regardless of who is watching, regardless of how many white friends that I have, regardless of how many people may know me and love me and respect me, but maybe don't know how powerful I really am, what I'm here for, and what I do. I can't silence my voice to make other people who like me or want to be in my life comfortable. I'm here for Black people. I'm here for Black women. I'm here to reveal those things about us. He's so good. And I'm just chewing on the roses. I've always eaten rose petals. Like, even when my ex used to give me like roses, I used to just start eating the petals like raw. Rose petals are really delicious. All right, what have we here? Psalms 119 verses 170. So Psalms 119 verses 170. Let my prayers for favor reach you. Be true to your promise and save me. I'm just going to stop there. Let my prayers for favor reach you. Be true to your promise and save me. That's Psalms 119 verses 170. Let my prayers for favor reach you. Be true to your promise and save me. All I can say is I am saved. I was going through a very dire situation, and I decided to call on the deity of the Most High and call on Christ, that Son and Savior, and it has worked out. And so that's the deity that I honor. It's not that I don't understand the mysteries and honor the ancestral spirits and the mysteries and the mysterious ways that the Most High works, which is Vodun. Vodun is the mysterious ways that the Most High works. That's why there's mysteries. That's why the Loa are mysteries. Orisha are forces of nature. Loa are the mysteries of how to embody those forces of nature. I did get saved, and I'm encouraging other people to pray to the Most High, pray to Christ, in whatever way makes you comfortable. But white people, start asking your deities if whether what I'm saying is true. Start asking your ancestors about the truth about Black people. White Caucasian ancestors, European ancient ancestors will be as truthful as African ancestors about Black genetics, because a lot of European ancient ancestors joined forces with Black ancestors, worked with Black ancestors in positive ways. That's why I said all Europe, all white people are not adverse to Africans. But if you have you have cracker genetics in you, you may be dealing with demonic spirits that incite you toward racism against Black people. Racism is not acknowledging stereotypes that are true or statistics that are true. It's not racist to acknowledge a statistic. Black women having babies out of wedlock. It's not racist to acknowledge that. It's not racist to acknowledge that Black women also are being targeted by planned pregnancy, and that planned pregnancy and liquor stores and churches and things are more prevalent in Black communities versus things that are more prevalent in white communities, like after school clubs, health clubs, health food stores, things that create segregation, maybe not exactly physically, where you're not in a proximity, but segregation mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. It's not racist to talk about the differences between Black people and white people. It's racist to oppress a person. It's racist to oppress a person. It's racist when white women try to act like black women don't exist and don't allow. It's racist when white supremacy does not show and reveal the beauty of black women because they want to program the world into thinking all black women are ugly and all white women are desirable. That's racist. It's not racist to acknowledge that black women have it a hell of a lot harder than white women because of that. That's not racist. It's racist the fact that that happens to black women. So get your head out your ass, understand definitions, think intellectually, and embody that spirit that differentiates you from clones. Embody the spirit that proves you are a human made in God's image. All right, peace and love.